Okay, I'm doing a reading vlog for the very first time and I'm really excited about it. I really enjoy watching other people's reading vlogs. So reading vlogs are typically just a vlog that follows someone through like their reading journey of a book or some books or a series of books. I think they're such fun vlogs because you can really go through the emotions of a book with somebody. Some people who do reading vlogs do actually just tell you the plot as they're reading it, and then some sort of describe the plot as they're reading it, and I feel like I want to do the latter just so I don't actually spoil the book for anybody if they do decide to read these books. The book that I am currently reading or have just started is Take My Hand by Dolen Perkins-Valdez. I'm about 2 chapters through, so not very much at all. So far, it seems like it might end up being sort of a generational book because the very first chapter talks about Sybil and her daughter Anne or Anna, and there's some family secret or secret from Sybil that she hasn't told her daughter Anne yet. And then it goes back into time and tells you the story about Sybil and how she meets the 2 girls that are also really big parts of this story apparently. This book actually got a really high rating on Goodreads. It got a 4.39 stars, which is pretty incredible if you've ever kind of sifted through the Goodreads ratings, because people on Goodreads are savages. Oftentimes I do disagree with some Goodreads ratings. Like, some people will rate the books that I like a 1 star or a 3 star, and they were like a 4 or 5 star for me. So I don't always take the Goodreads rating to heart, but typically when something is really highly rated on Goodreads, I absolutely love those books because yeah, it's just obviously unanimous that that book is great. So I have no doubt that I'm gonna enjoy this book. I'm just really looking forward to learning more about Sybil and her journey of her working as a nurse and sort of making a difference in this time, which was in Montgomery, Alabama in 1973. I'm gonna read for the next hour or so before I start work, and let's see how far I get. Okay, I want to keep reading, but I need to start preparing for my day and just getting ready for work. I am on page 90 now. So I've gotten through just about, I want to say like a quarter of the book. It's really good so far. It is emotional. Like, I feel like already I know this book is going to make me feel things pretty deeply. So far it's been following Sybil and sort of going through her early days as a nurse. It has introduced you to like the 2 main patients that they actually talk about in the back of the book, which are these 2 young girls, India and Erica. She gets India and Erica as her very first patients as a nurse, where she's working at a clinic that essentially helps the Black community and Black women to get access to birth control pills, because it was at a time where poverty was still very, very prominent in the Black community, and a lot of Black women and girls were having children at a very, very young age. And essentially this government-funded clinic that she works for is just trying to get birth control, like all forms of birth control, out to this community as possible so that they can prevent more kids being born into a family or household that isn't able to support them. It actually talks about Depo-Provera, which is a birth control injection that you still hear about today. But anyways, she is assigned these 2 young girls, and she just starts to wonder if they're too young, like why she is giving this injection to such young girls. Like, I think one's 11 and one's 13 or one's 10 or something like that. So I think the rest of the book is going to follow her story with these 2 young girls skills and also how they've affected the rest of her career, the rest of her medical career. It's definitely also talking about the ethics of providing birth control to women in this way, because the whole sort of idea of birth control, I mean, obviously maybe back in the day it wasn't created to give women this choice of, you know, not having to be pregnant. But I mean, at the end of the day, that is sort of what it's for. It's to give women that sense of protection and safety and choice, that they can choose when they want to be pregnant and what they want to do with their body. And I think it just starts to dig into the ethics of almost like forcing, like it's not like they're going around like just jabbing people by force, but a lot of the times it's just very, very heavily persuaded, these decisions, or they are actually kind of by force because the parents are asking the clinic to provide contraceptive solutions to their children. I'm interested in learning more about that whole situation of like how the idea of birth control has evolved since then. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the book. So I have my lunch, which looks healthy kind of from this angle, but really it's mee goreng. And then I actually have some steak, taco steak that we made, some just like cut up carne asada. That was left over from our taco night, and I thought I would just add it to my bowl because it gives some protein, and then a big serving of veggies. Wow, it looks really gross on camera, but this is like an ideal meal for me. I have maybe like 30 minutes or 40 minutes to do some reading. My lunch break is an hour, but I don't want to use up the full hour for reading because I'm gonna have time to do this later on at night too. So let's do, yeah, like 30-ish minutes of reading. Okay, something interesting in this book is also Sybil's relationship with her mom. I haven't quite really figured it out yet. She's given me a glimpse of what is going on between the two of them, but I think that over time, Sybil's mom has just, I don't know, like seen some shit, gone through some shit, and they have a pretty interesting relationship. So that's something that I'm looking forward to learning more about, because I think it does affect, or is a part of the reason why she is the way that she is and doing the things that she is doing. Alright, we wrapped up work for the day, so I thought I would just come out and enjoy the sun for a little bit before I start cooking dinner. I love this suit of mine. It's from Fat Boy. It's actually one of their outdoor beanies, but like on this like rocker platform. It's amazing. It's like so comfy. It really just is hard to get out of. Still not halfway. I'm about 122 pages in. Not quite halfway, so let's see how far I can get before I have to go and make dinner. We're back in the reading nook. It's the next day. Yesterday I was able to finish this much of the book. I'm on page 248 of 359. So I'm pretty close to being done. I have an hour before work to do some reading. I keep getting distracted though, which seems to be my problem just because I have a lot of ongoing projects right now. I'm just gonna try to read as much as I can over the next hour. Honestly, if I actually focus, I can probably finish it, but let's see how distracted I get over the next hour. I'm doing some lunchtime reading now, and I'm really closing in at the end of the book. This is how much I've gotten through, but in reality, like, there's always some pages at the end that are like the author's note, the acknowledgements, and all of that. So this is how many pages I have left. I'm on page 311. There's 352 pages of this story, so I think I'm just gonna wrap this up. It is getting really intense. It's really intense. It's really wrapping up the whole story. It's wrapping up the main sort of, I don't know, I guess, overarching issue. I'm trying not to spoil this for anyone, but it's really hitting the climax, and something crazy just happened, or something very unexpected, I want to say. So yeah, we're gonna finish it. Okay, I'm literally on the last chapter, so let's finish these last pages together. Before I just wrap this up, can I just say, like, how fucking sad this book is? Like, even in the happiest moments of this book, the way that the author describes how Sybil Townsend, like the main character, is feeling, or some of the thoughts that she's thinking, they're just so fucking sad. Like this one part, okay, they're in a very happy place right now. She is seeing her first patients again, and they're having a happy moment, but it says, "It is not lost upon me that I am talking to two motherless women, deprived of this opportunity by circumstance rather than by choice. I have exercised a choice that has been a powerful thing. Even as a single mother, the system favors me because of my status as a doctor." You've lived with a lifetime of guilt, and you became a nurse in the first place so that you can help people in your community, so that you can provide better health care to those people who aren't getting it because of their race, because of their status. But dang, it is just depressing being in her head sometimes, because she really puts the whole weight of the world on her shoulders, and you feel it as you're reading this book. Anywho, let's wrap up. Here's another line. "The judge scrutinizes you more closely if you're poor, disabled, unmarried. I'm still just as aware as ever that there is work to be done in this world." I was holding my breath for that last part. I am officially done. We are on to the author's note. It was a lot. This book was a lot, I'm not gonna lie. It was beautifully wrapped up, I will say that, but I'm gonna need some time to process everything I just read in the past 2 days before I can voice it to you in a way that's not just mumbo jumbo that I've come up with in my head, because it's just emotions right now, okay? All right, we're gonna have a chat. Okay, I think I'm ready to talk about it. It's now later in the day, and I've had a little bit of time to process the book and think about it. I don't know if anyone else does this after they read a book, but like the ideas of the book and the story really marinate in my head for pretty much the rest of the day until I go to sleep, and sometimes even past that. But there's this one comment on the back of the book that stood out to me when I first picked up the book, which said, "It makes the past feel immediate and relevant because it is." And man, that is honestly the perfect description of how I feel about this book. I think the only bone that I have to pick with this book is there were moments that I didn't love the main character. For example, there were moments during the book where she makes like questionable decisions or has questionable thoughts. More not questionable, like that feels like a really intense descriptor, but just almost like selfish thoughts and selfish decisions. But I think that that was also the purpose of the author writing those parts of the story. Like there are moments where she's thinking about how attached she became to these clients and the family of these clients, and I totally understand that human desire to protect and love and help the people that you love. But I just feel like she breaks that boundary of like client-patient relationship really fast. And I understand like this is her first nursing job, these are her first clients, and they just so happen to be this really awful case. Not to mention the girls that are her patients, Erica and India, seem easy to love, but at the same time I'm like, girl, just chill for a second. I think that all that she does for them in the book to help them try to right the wrong, which is like the main issue of the book, I absolutely loved that part and I commend her for it. But the fact that, I mean, it's like I can't even truly pick a bone with it because I understand it, and I understand that the way that she's feeling and the attachment that she's grown is just human nature, but like I just didn't love that part. I think that this book was really raw and real, and not for the faint of heart, because the issues addressed in this book are so real and more recent than you would assume. I definitely think when we see the genre category of historical fiction, or when we read certain books about racial injustice, it can feel almost like a long time ago, like it was a different lifetime, like we're in this new era now. But honestly, reading this book did the exact opposite, and it really has shined a light onto how recent like these events happened. And I feel like there hasn't been enough time for there to be such a stark difference in how we saw people and how we saw different races and how like the government as a whole treated them. Clearly there's still a lot to uncover and dig through in how I feel about this book, but I did give it a 5-star on my Goodreads. I think any book that makes me feel this deeply, it's hard not to rate it just full marks, because it did its job. It took the message and just stabbed it right into my chest, and I have yet been able to pull that feeling away yet. I really do love this second last line in the book summary on the back of the book. It says, because history repeats what we don't remember. And I think for that reason alone, you should definitely go out and purchase this book and support the author and support the cause, and just like remember what our history in America, or like North America, has been in the past. But also just because this was beautifully written, the story was amazing, and I think that a lot of people are gonna gain a lot from this book, but also just are going to be able to escape in this story like I did and just enjoy the read. Man, I don't know if I'm cut out for these reading vlogs, because like I'm really just feeling vulnerable on camera at this point, because like everything that I feel about this book is just like trying to pour out of me. Anywho, that was my very first reading vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. It literally has been an emotional roller coaster ride. I was like so excited going into this, reading this book, and like now I'm just a bit emotionally raw, but that's fine, we're good. Today I actually looked through all of the books that I have in my physical TBR, aka I own those books, and there are over 30 books that I own that I haven't read. So I am officially putting myself on a book buying ban until I get through more of my physical TBR, because it's just getting embarrassing at this point, and yeah, I can't keep doing this. I've been doing lots of book updates on Feel Good Reading Club on Instagram, because that is the new page that I created for all of my reading content. I want to post so much reading content that it doesn't make sense to post it all on my main page, which is mainly lifestyle and fashion and beauty and work. I still will post like little mini reviews on that and stuff, but yeah, I did create the second page so that I can just brain dump all of my book content and words onto that page. So if you have been enjoying the book content, make sure you go and follow that page so that we can chat on there. And thank you to everybody who commented on my last book video. Honestly, I know these videos don't like perform well on my page, and they're not going to be the videos that get the most views or the most likes, but I have been just enjoying making these videos so much and like sharing this hobby of mine. So I'm glad that a few of you did speak up and say that you are enjoying the book content, because it is inspiring me to do more of it. Even if it's just for a couple of us in this community, I think it's 100% worth it because readers gotta stick together, man. I'll probably put a poll up on one of my social media channels to pick the next book for the next reading vlog, so make sure you go and follow me both on Speak of the Angel as well as Feel Good Reading Club to help me decide on my next read. But other than that, that is my very first reading vlog wrapped up. If you've already read it, or if you're reading it right now, or if you're going to read it, make sure to comment below so that we can talk about this book, because I will respond to those comments and we can actually have a discussion about it. Okay, that's it. I hope you guys are having an amazing day wherever you are in the world, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!